to First Take. The Clippers and Warriors played in the regular season finale on Sunday. They'll face again in the play-in tournament on Wednesday. The Clippers end the year as the number 9 seed. They'll host the 10th seeded Warriors. Steph Curry, who is still working his way back from that knee injury, played 29 minutes and scored 24 points. So the play-in tournament features the Suns, Trailblazers, Clippers, and Warriors for a battle of the final two seeds in the playoffs. The winner of the 7-8 matchup will go on to play the Spurs, while the winner of the 9-10 matchup will play the 7-8 loser to determine who plays, lucky for them, the Thunder. Would winning the play-in mean more for Steph Curry or Kawhi Leonard as we get to see a rematch of these two players? Stephen A., what do you think?
No, I'm going to say Kawhi Leonard. I mean, we ain't worried about no Steph Curry. If Steph Curry, no matter what happens with Steph Curry, we know who he is, the 4-time champion that he is, Mr. Box Office, the greatest shooter God has ever created. We know what he brings to the table. Plus, he missed a bunch of games this year due to his knee injury before coming back. He didn't have to come back. There was even speculation. Should the Warriors sit him out for the rest of the season? And because all you're going to do is get into the play-in, why even bother? But that brother is back. I mean, please, we got no questions about Steph Curry. Not a single question about him. We're happy to see him. Even when he's on the damn bench, we're happy to see him. That's how great he is. Kawhi Leonard is an entirely different matter. Now, let me say this. I've been, and Wendy, don't faint. I've been very pleased with what I've seen from Kawhi Leonard. Very pleased. I have to admit it. I cannot believe the availability that he has put forth. Look at that skip, that hop, skip, and jump before he pulled up for the J. I mean, Kawhi Leonard has been that dude. Let's make sure we understand that plain as day. But if he, for some reason, wasn't available, you understand, or goes down with an injury, this is what we're going to do. And I'm going to be the leader of the pack. Here we go again. Here we go again. The lack of availability. That's what we're going to be saying. This means more to Kawhi Leonard because you need to see that push from this man. The Los Angeles Clippers, he came there after being in Toronto, okay? Even the year they went to the conference finals, he was injured. He got injured, in the first or early in the second round, and they got to the conference finals without him. You want to see this brother on the basketball court, not just with the Clippers, but leading the Clippers the way he is capable of doing into a big-time playoff appearance. That's what you want to see. We see that from Kawhi Leonard. We're going to go like this. Oh, yeah, okay. That's that dude right there. That's the 2-time champion. That's the 2-time NBA Finals MVP. I mean, that's who he is. We know how gifted he is. But his availability has been his crutch. That's what we have leaned on, and he has to show that he can be reliable for these playoffs. If the Clippers lose, it needs to be with him on the court, going down swinging, being the great player that he is, not watching from the sidelines yet again. This does more for him. We have no questions about Steph Curry. We got all the questions in the world about Kawhi Leonard because of his availability.
Shay, this has been a lost season for the Warriors pretty much. The Jimmy Butler injury, the Moses Moody injury, Steph having the knee issue that's pretty much derailed his entire second half. At this point, there's no expectations, and whatever they're able to accomplish is, gravy. This is a different story for Kawhi Leonard. He's got one of the most complex situations in this era of the NBA. And I'm going to tell you, he was a top 10 player in the league this year. Top 10. He's borderline first team All-NBA. He'll make second team All-NBA. But he was awesome throughout this entire season. And it is like a darn shame, as Stephen A would say, a damn shame. At these last 2 seasons that Kawhi Leonard has had, the Clippers are going to get nothing out of him. Because everything that the Clippers have gone through and are still going through, because the aspiration thing is like a storm on the horizon, and it has been for months. The fallout that will happen from that, whatever it may be, everything the Clippers have gone through for Kawhi Leonard, and season after season, he was unhealthy, or this happened and that happened, and they had chances derailed. And the last 2 years, he's actually been healthy, and the Clippers were not in position to do it. The other years, you thought they might be going to the finals, and then he comes up with an injury. He finished last season healthy, and they had a 7-game narrow loss to the Nuggets. Who knows what would have happened if things went differently, if Aaron Gordon's dunk with a 1/10 of a second on the clock that decided that game had gone differently. Who knows how far they would have gone. And look at him now. He's on an unbelievable scoring streak. He is healthy. He is in position to completely lead a playoff run. But Stephen A., the team left him. They got old, and then midway through the season, the Clippers pulled the plug. Traded away players, got rid of Zubac, said, listen, we're done. And it is look, in the grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of basketball, in the grand scheme of the world, there's bigger tragedies, okay? But from a basketball and a franchise standpoint, Kawhi Leonard being at the top of his game at a team that is not in position to compete is a basketball tragedy, and that's what we've got now.
First of all, let's remember, you pointed out last year, he was healthy last year. That's a loss. They lost in that playoff series to Denver. It's 7 games, but they still lost. So let's call it what it is, okay? He was on the court. He was healthy. So the team didn't abandon him. They lost. They had him on the court, and they lost. Let's get that out the way first. Secondly, I don't want to hear about the team abandoning him. This man has been there since 2021. Kawhi Leonard has not won a playoff series. Think about that for a second. Hasn't won a playoff series with the Clippers since 2021. That's Kawhi Leonard we're talking about here. This year, 27.9 points, 50.5% shooting, 39% from three-point range, career high 27.9 points, okay? Give him credit where credit is due. But we can't look at it as if the organization abandoned him. We can look at it as if the organization waited long enough for this brother to be available and to step up and handle his business. And he was either unavailable until last year when he was available, and then he got taken out, albeit in 7 games in the first round. I can't accuse the Clippers of abandoning him. As far as I'm concerned, they've been entirely too damn patient with him. Now, he's paying dividends for them over the last 2 seasons in terms of his performance combined with his availability, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. But far too much time was spent with him being unavailable to the team because his health was a huge question mark. At some point in time, he's lucky they didn't cut bait with him altogether. Now, he's had an opportunity. You should beat the Warriors. You should beat the Warriors, okay? You actually should get to the playoffs in the first round before you end up going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know you ain't beating them, but you actually should get this team to that first playoff series, to be quite honest with you. We'll see if he does.
So just as a reminder, both teams need 2 wins. And the Warriors and Clippers, both teams need 2 wins to get that playoff berth. Whoever loses that first game will have to go home. All right, coming up here on First Take, WrestleMania week is here. We got a stacked lineup of guests for you throughout the week. Today, Joe Tessitore will be here to break down this must-see event. We're also going to be in Vegas for it on Friday. Could it be the worst thing for the Knicks to draw the hot Hawks team in the first round of the playoffs? Should they be on upset